everything is coming crashing down and following what has been weeks of reports saying the Leafs are going to be buyers, they're going to be sellers, they can contend, they can't contend. Following another loss that left Leafs fans absolutely furious. Multiple new reports have dropped in a massive development, not only revealing that this front office is in a way worse position than any of us initially thought. Their thought process is everywhere from north, south, east, west. They don't know what they're doing, but these new reports have dropped, including one surrounding a defenseman on the Leafs that is not only a huge development, but changes the outlook of their entire trade deadline plans. We're going to break down that exact report as well as a ton of other ones because they keep on flooding in. Everything is coming crashing down following back-to-back losses on back-to-back nights. All the optimism from the Olympics is now gone, if you had any. And we're going to cover it all, but before we get into it, a very quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. Even though the Leafs have been, sucking, you guys have been absolute beasts of support. Darius, horrible loss yesterday, and we have multiple reports to dive into. And let's start with Elliot Friedman's because he kind of, and you're going to kind of see a theme over our videos in the next few days. The reports that have been flying, I mean, some of them contradict each other. Some of them are just jaw-dropping because of the way management has handled the Easton Cowan situation, the Bobby McMann situation. But Elliot Friedman came out and said, people are like, oh, they haven't done anything yet because they haven't made their decision. I don't believe that's the case. I think they haven't done anything yet because they haven't been presented with anything they really like. And he goes on to say and talks about how there remains a bit of a gulf with Lawton, McMann. There's talks about extensions. All of this to say, there is no clear path as to what they're doing. And then a report dropped yesterday revealing, of course, we'll dive into, Bobby McMann and things like that. But it is about not only Bobby McMann, but also Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Darius. This is a very big development about trading him to the Oilers, which would be, to be honest, fine if they can get some assets. But it's at the point now where you're hearing reports about McMahon, you're hearing reports about OEL, you're hearing reports about, why Easton Cowan's not playing. The Leafs get absolutely pumped when fully healthy again. It's crashing down, but this specific tweet about OEL to the Oilers makes total sense for the Oilers. What can the Leafs get back? They could end up, this management, I've lost a lot of faith in the past 24 hours with all the reporting. It seems like they're negotiating through the media.
Oh, not just 24 hours.
Yeah,
It's been a while. It's been a while, but certainly the last 24 hours, 48 hours at this point. And I like that last point as well. I think that a lot of this is negotiations through the media in terms of they're throwing numbers out there. So then agents bend, maybe other teams start bending, stuff like that. That we only have a week left until the trade deadline, keep in mind. So I do think there could be some of that out there. That's for sure. The other thing that's for sure is, Nick, I am tired. I am tired. There's so much going on right now. And a lot of the players' names are being thrown out and people are saying, you're 100% not going to get a first round pick for that guy. Like, listen, the fact of the matter is you're not going anywhere. This team, they can only afford basically in the last 23 games, 6 losses. And we know that there's no chance that that's going to happen. They're going to lose way more games than that at this rate, especially with the effort that they put in last night in Florida. I mean, this team, for the letter from Keith Pelly to season ticket holders to suggest that injuries are a big factor here. I mean, this team went fully healthy or close to it. I mean, who are you missing right now? Chris Tanev, and that's it, right? Even close to fully healthy, there's no chemistry here. We thought this was going to go a very different way, and they have nothing. You watch the game, and they're lucky to get on the board there with that power play goal, right? So when you look at some of the reports that have come out now, Bobby McMann, again, keep in mind, some of this could be negotiations through the media, stuff like that, or maybe, of course, there is some truth to it, but a 5 times fine for Bobby McMann is insane. We've been talking about how he could be a $5 million player, but he is not 22 years old. When this contract expires, if you were to sign 5 times 5, he'd be 35 years old. That is a mistake. You can't do that. So what can you do? You can trade him. You can trade him for a couple assets, right? So I think that's probably what they're going to end up doing. Again, we'll see. A lot of this could be negotiations, but on the OEL thing as well. Curious for your thoughts. We learned from Darren Dreger that his wife is expecting to, and I wanted to bring that up because a lot of people, including myself, are throwing his name out there, right? And you can change your mind when presented with new information, and I wouldn't blame him for not accepting a trade. He has a modified no trade list, and I didn't blame Mitch Marner last year either for exercising his right in his contract. He probably should have been traded years ago, but if OEL doesn't want to get traded and that's the reason, that's okay. And I'm a little bit more okay with that because he does have term. Maybe you can try again next year if the team isn't that good. But there is a lot going on right now. And the fact that some teams are, showing some interest and that is being reported, I think is a good thing because the Leafs are going to have to make some moves here. This is a guy specifically in OEL that's had a really good season, arguably their best defenseman this year.
Yeah, I think it's a 16-team no move clause, but the Leafs will probably do good by him anyway because it's just kind of the organization they tend to be. But you look at the stats, 34 points. He's an incredible player having an incredible year. And if he wants to go to the Oilers, I mean, the Leafs are gotta hope from, and it might not be the Oilers depending on their pick situation. They gotta at least try to get a first. Will they settle for a second at that point? Like, I don't even know if it's worth it. And yeah, Bobby McMann, we'll have a full video on that. I wouldn't give him 5x5. I mean, he is not a young player, and he's also not somebody that is going to help the Leafs. I mean, he could help them win a cup, of course, but they have a lot more and a lot bigger fish to fry than I think Bobby McMann in that regard. But again, Friedman's guess is also that same 5x5. But all that to say, like, the team is in a wild spot. You can see here the whole idea that they're waiting for the weekend to determine what they're going to do, I do not believe is the case. And I mean, the amount of reports here is insane. We're not going to cover them all today, but I don't know what to even think about it at this point because OEL, I think trading him makes the most sense. And you go through the players, we've been talking about it now for days, weeks. It doesn't really matter. They need to get assets back. Their team is nowhere near a playoff team at this juncture. They're nowhere near being competitive. And if Keith Pelly sends a message down on Brad Living, I don't know how secure Brad Living's job is at this point. Their pick situation is absolutely dire. And if you think that the Leaf situation isn't in dire need of a full reset, you might be you might be a little bit delusional here because, and I think Brad Living is maybe potentially delusional. So that's the another issue. No first round pick in 2026. No first round pick in 2027. I mean, next draft, you're not drafting till the third round, and that's basically all you got outside of picks in rounds 5 and 6. It's bad. And yesterday's loss, I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. They are now in a very bad spot. I don't know if this is fully updated, but if it either way, they're back a hefty amount of points.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, you let the Florida Panthers back into it. That was an opportunity just for pride's sake to beat a team and knock them out of the playoffs that eliminated you from the playoffs last year, and you couldn't do it. You couldn't get up for it. It's unbelievable. After 3 weeks off, like I could get why the Olympians are maybe tired, maybe, but it's just ridiculous. There's really no chemistry with the team. It's crazy to watch in real time how this has unfolded this way and how they're basically quitting because they're all checking out mentally, right? So it's hard to make sense of much right now with the team as currently constructed. And when you look at the UFAs specifically, they got to move off of them. Like you said, like the pick situation is dire. It absolutely is. And Wes Clark has moved on, obviously, from the organization. They have a new scouting staff, the one from the Dallas Stars. And Wes Clark went to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now you have the guy from the Dallas Stars. And the last couple of years, if you look at their track record in Dallas, I mean, they have essentially their whole team in one draft. Like they draft very, very well. So I think he's going to be able to do something in the later rounds. But at the same time, you want something to work with in round 1 or round 2. When you're looking at the Oilers, they don't have a first round pick. So maybe you want to trade OEL somewhere else. Maybe you hang on to him anyway. But the UFAs have to go and you have to get any type of asset back for them. The other reason why you want to do that, at least in my eyes, and people have different opinions, and that's what it is. You move out those pieces so then you can call up guys like Quillen. So maybe they're not going to make a difference in terms of getting you into the playoffs, this year. But Quillen played 6 minutes against the Avs like weeks ago at this point, I guess almost a month ago or maybe more than that, in that afternoon game. And he looked great. And they only played him 6 minutes. He can play in the NHL. Call up Villanov, all of these guys, right? And then at the end of the year, if the Marlies are in the playoffs, in the middle of the pack, whatever it is, send them all, including Easton Cowan, who we'll touch on in another video, back to the Marlies to go on the playoff run. Like call them up, get that experience. You're going to miss the playoffs anyway, and then send them all back down. I think so many other teams do that. I don't know how this has turned into rocket science for this organization. It really isn't. They just got to move off these pieces at this point, and that's just the way I see it because they're not going anywhere. You got to get some type of assets back, but you also have to be strategic about it, right? We can't just sit here and say, sell, sell, sell. Like a lot of people are saying, just, get whatever you can for some of these players. Be strategic about it, feel it out. If you don't make a trade till Friday, I'm not going to be mad about that, but you have to make a couple moves. That is for sure.
Yeah, and don't forget, Quillen, last year of his deal, he's going to be an RFA, so I'm sure they'd like to see what kind of player they have in him, or else it's a very real chance he leaves. But let us know down below. Too many reports to cover. One thing is for sure, it's seemingly over, at least for this season, and what's up next is going to determine this team for years to come. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.